Are e-collars abusive? Do they shock dogs? Are they an evil tool? Well, we're gonna find out in this video.
Hello everybody, I'm Todd with Sniff Squad Dog Training, and you read the title right. We shock dogs here. Just kidding, we don't actually shock dogs. We do use e-collars though. And e-collar, especially with the modern way of training with the e-collar, we don't shock dogs. We don't do it. Anybody who has never used one and says that people are just, dog trainers are just shocking dogs with the e-collar are wrong. And even the way that we use it and the way we introduce it is extremely humane. And it's more humane than a leash. It's more humane than a harness. It's more humane than any collar that you're gonna put on your dog. If you use it the right way, and it's just like any tool, it can be used wrong. It can be used to abuse, right? Just like a hammer can be used to abuse, or a leash can be used as a whip to abuse, or even good old hands, right? We can abuse essentially with anything. Going straight towards blaming the tool, blaming the trainers who use the tool properly is quite frankly ignorant and irresponsible. I'm gonna show you how I introduced the e-collar, and you're gonna see exactly how tame, humane, and honestly clear the communication is when you use the e-collar properly. Alrighty, so I got a few e-collars here, and I have a few collars here as well that you're gonna get familiar with right now. The brand that I use, Ecollar Technologies. Super easy to remember, right? Very straightforward. So there's really, about 3 or 4 brands that are really good. The ones that I know of being really good are Ecollar Technologies, Dogtra, Garmin, and there's another one. No, I think that's pretty much all that I know. This one that I have here is called an Easy Educator, or an Easy 900. The range goes up to 100. So those lower levels, and when you get to 100, it just says high, right? Those lower levels are what we use. So we use from like 1 to 10. The collars that I have here are not the original collars that they come with. These I got from a place called K9 Vitamin Shop, and I'll put that in the link down below. And all they are is they're bungee collars. They're bungee collars for the e-collar, and they make them specifically for this brand, and so they fit nicely, and all you do is you take off the other collar that comes with, and you put this one back on, put this one on. Yeah, the reason why I use these is because they're a lot easier to put on and off. So before you put this thing on, you're going to turn on the remote, or I'm sorry, the receiver. So the receiver turns on, there's a little red dot right here. Okay, we turn it on by connecting the remote. Has a little red dot on the back. We connect them together, and the green light turns on. The green light means it's on. Okay, if we hit that thing again and connect them, red light means it's off. Okay. Boom. I suggest putting this on first before you even use it. Put it on them, let them go on walks. That's what we've been doing with Spritz a whole bunch, is we've been putting it on and just taking him out, training, doing all sorts of stuff that he likes, right? And so he starts to associate putting that collar on with fun things happening. what we're gonna do is start to introduce the collar. Since the e-collar is such a foreign concept, I want Spritz to enjoy this training. So I'm gonna use these really good stuff. So the way that we first introduce the collar is we just literally have Spritz hanging out here doing nothing. Once he kind of relaxes like he is right now. Okay, I'd start out at probably about a 1 or a 2. I'd hit it, bump. I'm not gonna do it right now because I already know what his level is. So what I'm trying to do with this, I'm trying to find his level. So I'll start at a level 2, I'll hit it, see if I see anything from him. And his reaction could be really subtle, it could be really obvious as well. Some dogs, they move when they feel it. Some dogs, they stay still, they freeze when they feel it. So you're just gonna wanna know what to look for, honestly, and that's why having a professional when you do this is probably the best choice. So I want the leash there. This is really important too. Really important. The leash needs to be there because the leash gives direction. Okay? You're also going to help them with your body language and your communication with them to give them direction. But the e-collar has no direction. So when they feel that sensation, they don't know which way to go, right? It doesn't make sense to them. It's just the sensation on them, on their neck, right? And so we have to use the leash to help guide them to which way we want them to go. So if I hit that and I back up, I want him to know to come to me. Okay, and the leash is another guide for that because we've already practiced with the leash. That's one of the requirements to introduce the e-collar to your dog. They have to know how to respond to the leash. Okay? They have to know leash pressure, right? So just like that, I can Brad just easily pull on that leash and Spritz will go with that leash pressure, right? And so Spritz understands that leash pressure. So we're going to start out introducing the e-collar with just a tap, the sensation. I'm going to put it at a level 7, okay, just below his working level. So 7, move back, and feed. Okay, I don't want to pull on the leash, but rather use it as a guide. So it needs to be loose, okay? And I'm just going to repeat this over and over. Tap, feed. Tap, so first tap, then feed. You drop one on the ground and they go to eat it. Tap it before they eat it. The whole idea about this is that they start to associate, okay, and get conditioned that the tap, okay, means they get a reward. It's very similar to our marker words. Okay? Good. I want him on the next session to hopefully, when I hit that stim, he knows exactly what I want. He comes to me, I don't even have to say anything, right? That's ideal. That means he's definitely understanding what we're doing with the stimulation. Yes! And it's also okay to mark when they do the right thing. So I'm gonna start doing that a lot more. And so I'm gonna tap, he comes, yes! He comes towards me even just a little bit. I'm gonna mark it right away. Yes. 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 So thank you guys for watching this little video on shocking dogs with the e-collar. Obviously we're not shocking dogs, as you can see from the video, and you can see how tame and humane our introduction is, and that's just how we're going to continue to use the e-collar. So I really hope that from this video you can get a sense that the e-collar isn't an evil tool, but rather that the people who use it in the wrong way are the evil people, right? So if you are thinking about using an e-collar, definitely consult a trainer. That's what we're here for. Okay? You wouldn't essentially try to get a fancy haircut by yourself, right? You would go to someone, to a barber, to do it for you, a professional, if you will, a hairstylist. All right, and that's the same thing with dogs and dog training. Oftentimes we think that we know everything because we've grown up with dogs, and I used to think that too. Like, hey, I know everything about dogs, until I started my career as a dog trainer. Okay, you definitely don't know everything. I don't know everything. We're all learning still. Okay, and new technologies like ECollars are going to be a huge benefit, but there's obviously going to be some challenges and limitations of which we're going to have to navigate through in order to really get the full benefit out of that technology. And that's what we're here for. That's what dog trainers are here to do, is educate you on the proper use of these tools. Hopefully I did that today for you. Hopefully you can now more comfortably start using an ECollar, or maybe not. And if you still don't like ECollars after this, well, I'm sorry. Hopefully you can find some information that's going to help you, and find a technique or method that's going to help you and help your dog, because that's what it's all about. We're all about building bonds, making the life of your dog and your life better, improving them together, and always sniff on.